Hello, folks. You're all very welcome back to the Celtic Soul Podcast. I'm Andrew Milne, and on this episode of the podcast, I'll be chatting to Glasgow journalist Michael Pringle. Michael is a regular on the podcast, and he's also been a regular contributor to more than 90 minutes of fanzine for many, many years. 25 years ago, there you go, more than 90 minutes where it all started. If you want to know what we're all about, please visit CelticFanzine.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening on audio, please hit the follow button and you'll never miss an episode. I'd like to give a big shout out to North Kildare Celtic Supporters Club for the sponsorship of the fanzine. They've just come on board as our latest sponsor for the podcast and the fanzine, and we appreciate their support. All your members should now have a copy of the latest issue of More Than 90 Minutes. Issue 140 is out now, and you can order it by visiting CelticFanzine.com. You can get the digital download, or if you're like me, an old dinosaur, the print copy. So that's a big shout out to North Kildare Celtic Supporters Club for the support. And if you would like to support us and you like what we do, please email us at info@CelticFanzine.com, and you can also follow us on social media or download our app on the Google App Store on the Apple App Store or Google Play. I think that's it, folks. So without further ado, let's get Michael on and enjoy the podcast. Michael Pringle, you're very welcome back to the Celtic Soul Podcast. It's Monday morning, the morning after the evening before a 2-2 draw against Hearts. Backs against the wall at times. Two fantastic goals. Controversial sending off. A late goal for Hearts. I suppose for the neutral, like, it wasn't a great game of football, but it had bits and pieces to catch everyone. But from a Celtic point of view, what's your thoughts on yesterday?
Well, we did say it was going to be a big week coming up prior to the Bologna game, and although we didn't win either of the games, we got credible draws in both, and we said last week we were still in the running for 3 competitions, and it still stands just now. We're still in there with a shout against Utrecht, and we're still in the league. That would have been very difficult if we'd lost yesterday. And to be fair, we made hard work out for long spells of the game yesterday. The red card didn't help getting it in the last 15 minutes or so. Some people think it was a bit harsh. I think it was probably the right decision. I've looked with hindsight, I'm looking at it a few times. At first I thought, well, that's yellow, and I thought he got it right, and then I was a bit confused when VAR intervened, and then when I seen the replays again, I thought they might just be right. Maybe the red is the right call. You might have Scales is quite a bit back. So would they have got a shot off? That's a key question. Would they have got a shot off? Whereabouts would they have got a shot off? Would have probably been edge of the box, to the right side of the edge of the box. Would Schmeichel have made up that ground? I don't know. So a red's probably, if it was at our end of the ground, I'd have been looking for a red. I think a red would have been, it was and is the right decision. A red midweek as well, if we want to go back to that. That's a red there as well. So both games we've made it hard for ourselves. Played a long time, over an hour in Bologna with 10 men. And all the things that I didn't think would happen, we got a signing, albeit a loan signing as well. Thomas Chavanchara, I think that's right. Proper pronunciation. Might take me a while to get my head around that.
You know him as well as I know.
Yeah, so and he looked half decent. I think for a guy who hadn't played for November, he gave us a focal point. My only worry was that we seemed to bypass the midfield, because we did have somebody up front to target. So there was a lot of long balls yesterday, which isn't really the way we would normally play. I know under Martin we've been getting the ball forward quicker, but I just thought we completely bypassed the midfield yesterday, and I thought that it was the right decision not to start Hatate as well yesterday, given that he's become a bit of a liability this season. I think the red card on Thursday was just stupid. really stupid. I mean, the first yellow he loses the ball on the edge of their box, loose in possession, loses the ball, chases back. Actually, fouls Lewis Ferguson twice for that yellow card, pulls his jersey and then catches on the leg, and then he got a second yellow within a couple of minutes. Was just absolutely criminal. And I thought, no, I know the guy's put his arm across him, but he stuck at his leg as well as his arm. No, it was always going to be. When I seen the replay, I just thought, no doubt in my mind that's a red. So I know Martin was shouting outside. It looked a bit like the Juventus game for 2001 again. I was expecting to shout shocking, but it was the right decision, and I think yesterday was probably the right decision as well. McInnes has been a bit, I don't know where you want to put this, but the goal, I don't know, it shows you on the TV, McInnes screaming for something incensed looking at on the touchline. I really don't know what he was shouting about. I mean, maybe it was just the fact that Craig Gordon never saved the free kick, and ironically, Sky had put up that we hadn't scored for 83 direct free kicks previous to that, and up he pops, up Nygren. And yet again, I mean, I've not been the kindest to Nygren because I just, I don't know, I never really took to him at first, but his stats are incredible, and that was a fantastic goal yesterday. And I thought it would be a better start with him than Hatate yesterday. There was plenty of talking points in both games, to be fair, but we've survived both. That's probably the best way of looking at it. I'm a bit disappointed we never actually came away with the 3 points yesterday, given that we were 13 or 15 minutes or so away from actually taking the 3 points. So that was a bit disappointing. But I don't think we can actually grudge Hearts the point yesterday because they were the better side for long spells of the game. I just thought we were a bit kick and rush. We didn't really get the ball down and play football for any length of time during the game. No, it was just a bit. It just looked a bit frantic. No, it just looked as if we'd threw our game plan out the window just to get the ball forward earlier. But it was a great second goal as well. 2 good goals, I thought. And Chivanchara shows that he's got something. He'll be an addition to the squad and give us something up front. No, but I don't know. What's your own thoughts on yesterday?
Well, firstly, it was a long. Like, I'm normally traveling to games, so you know the day is everything happens so quick. You know, you're on a bus, you're in an airport, you're on a plane, you're off the plane, you could be on a supporters bus, you know, you could be on a train, and so the whole day it goes in a flash. And yesterday it was a case of. I seem to be. I was just waiting all day for kickoff. You know, the tickets, the ticket allocation now is it's just getting harder and harder to get tickets. So, you know, and then if you see someone at the game, you're kind of a bit jealous that they got a ticket and you didn't. Like a spoiled child. But it was so yeah. It was kind of a long wait for kickoff. But then when the game was over, Michael, it was a case of, I don't have to travel now, you know. I don't have to hang around an airport till 10 or 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Drinking lovely pints, overpriced pints. So yeah, there was kind of that effect, and I suppose I had like normally I'd spend the evening then watching on YouTube the interviews and that with the players, but and Madden and that. So I got that straight away. I thought Hearts were the better team. I thought our 2 goals were brilliant. I thought the second goal, like the first goal, the free kick was outstanding. It was just, you know, it really was, and so early in the game, it just gave us that little cushion, you know. And then, like the goal, like we were under so much pressure, and it just shows when we do break, we can play football. I thought the goal was brilliant, and the speed of the new lad, as I'll say, Thomas. I just thought the speed of him, and you know, he just handed it on the play. To Yang, and you know, twice I was off the chair and during the game, and it was like, you know, you're missing hugging a stranger or hugging a mate, but it was the TV experience isn't as bad as you know, in a game like that. Although you've no nails, nothing beats being at the game, Michael. Nothing beats match day, but It's just I'm going to have to start accepting it now because
Yeah, it's something we're all going to have to start. We're all sort of having to accept. If I get one for a game, I get one. Now for away games, if I don't, I don't. I mean, they're so in demand. It's everybody's in the same boat. I think that such small allocations, Tynecastle especially, I think it's 572 tickets or something we get. It's just, I think our supporters club get one, and we've got 60 odd members, so we've got one ticket to ballot between us, and most supporters clubs are in the same boat. So unless you know somebody that's on the board, perhaps, or something like that, then hi.
Yeah, it's like and like I had Kieran on the podcast over the weekend, Kieran Kenny from Dublin, who runs the Nave Power Bus, and he was saying like when we were investing ourselves in Folly and Celtic home and away, we'd opportunities, whereas a young lad now coming, who wants to do that away experience, do that football experience, like jump on a train or a bus or a plane or whatever. He's not going to get the opportunity, so much. Like the Livingston game or Europe away, you'll probably get tickets.
Yeah.
But just, but I think I just think that the way I think like I do know one lad that just goes to away games. Like, fair play to him. He's getting the tickets. He has a season book, but he just the whole Celtic Park thing now just doesn't appeal to him. So there is a mix out there from. I thought the Celtic fans, you could hear them before the game. Obviously, when you're not there, you can't. It's hard to comment on the supporters' experience.
Yeah.
But from a viewpoint of watching the game, I thought Hearts were the better team. And it's concerning that, that going to Tynecastle like that, this Celtic team are under so much pressure, and like there was stages there we were barely getting out of a box. And when you're saying we went long, it was just kick the ball anywhere. It wasn't fun. Like it was just to try and clear the lines. And that, I suppose that just tells you like what Brendan Rodgers was saying, that to be competing in three competitions, you need better players, and it's gapingly there. Like when, like I know we've been unlucky with injuries to key players. But Tierney goes off yesterday. Sirachi's still injured. Scales has to go out there. Then we get the sending off. Then he's back in the centre, and then you've a right-footed player who will give you everything. But he ain't, he's not a world beater or a match winner in Tony Rosen, and he's come on and asked to do a job on the other side of the pitch, which just tells you that how bad the recruitment has been, And somebody was, you get a lot of abuse online when you post stuff, and but like I wouldn't post it if for every bad comment you'll get a comment that might agree with you, but like. People are blaming Tisdale and bad signings, but they're not blaming the people running the club. And I find that fucking strange because, like, who appointed Tisdale?
Yeah.
Who oversees the signings? Like, if it's not the manager. So, like, Dermot Desmond has been proved that he's a lawyer about the Brendan Rodgers thing because, there's no way Brendan Rodgers was going to come out. And, like when Jack was on the podcast last weekend, we did mention, Brendan may do things that suit Brendan, what's best for Brendan, right? But at the same time, every manager, no matter what club they're at, needs the tools, And Jackie McNamara spoke about when he was 7 million in debt at Dundee United as manager, and his brief was to get the debt down in 2 years. And he lost 5 players and 3 of them to Celtic in the transfer window. Celtic came in and he said it's impossible. It's impossible to compete if you don't have the tools. If you don't have the players. And Matt O'Neill doesn't have the players, and his man management skills are excellent because he's getting the best out of them. Like Europe, backs against the wall. You've got to be so proud of the boys on Thursday night, against Bologna, and proud of them yesterday as well. But again, it was always going to be a tough ask, but to do it with 10 men, and then it would have took a lot out of the players because he could only he brought a new lad in. He brought the right full back who's not in the Europa League squad. So the Mexican guy. So like it's frustrating, and it must be frustrating for the coaching team as well to look and go, we don't have a left-sided player, we don't have this, we don't have that, and
Yeah.
for me, I know Matt O'Neill. Matt O'Neill was asked yesterday at the press conference after the game, was he going to bring? Well, had he another 3 or 4 players coming in? And he looked at the reporter and he goes, "Well, I don't know about 3 or 4." So which tells me there might be 1 or 2 more loan signings in.
Make another one.
And I know everyone has an opinion, but this is only our opinion. So if you agree with us, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Because if I had been in Edinburgh yesterday and I walked into the airport and met 3 Celtic fans, we wouldn't have all agreed. That's just the way it is.
Never do.
It's just a bit the conversation. But Michael, we have another big one coming up now. Like when you think when Wilfred and Nancy came in, what a huge week that was, and it turned out to be an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
His first couple of games was massive, and then Martin comes back and he kind of he was able to kind of settle in before this week. But if you take Bologna to Utrecht with that Hearts game in between, this is a massive week, and we haven't won a game, but we haven't lost a game. And then like Utrecht, that's a very winnable game. I just checked the form. They're very poor at the moment in the Dutch league. They're mid-table, but they must have had a half decent start because the results in recent weeks. I think they won a cup game. They've lost everything else, and I think they've won 1 point in the Europa League.
Yeah, but expect Barkas to play an absolute blinder on Thursday night, because that's always the way of it, isn't it? That's always the way it happens.
I couldn't believe he was still playing.
He was actually meeting with the fans, I think, last week. I read something about him meeting with the fans because they're sort of in crisis with the results I've been getting and stuff. Just before we move on to that, yesterday we lost 2 goals for set pieces. There's the Celtic hadn't scored in 83 from a direct free kick, but we lost 2 goals again for set pieces, which was again a bit worrying. The other point I wanted to make was another point about McInnes. Him and Chris Boyd both saying that Celtic don't get red cards and try to put undue influence on the referees and this getting into this running. I thought that was really disappointing again to lose the goals for set pieces. Although Hearts are good at them, and we're not very good at defending them, because I think we've lost. I think we're joint top for goals lost from set pieces this season, along with Kilmarnock. I might be wrong, but I think that's the case. They were ahead of us until yesterday, so we might actually have leapfrogged them now. So that's something that should be looked at, I think, as well as taking free kicks. We need to defend them a bit better, and corners, obviously.
Yeah, it is alarming the amount of goals we concede from set pieces, but that may be a thing. Like with the new coaching team in now, Stephen McManus is obviously has an influence in defence. They need they need time, but because you just don't get time because it's 2 games a week, Michael. Because we're still competing in everything. Like Hearts had a week to prepare for that game.
Yep, and another week for the next game.
So like as I said to you last week, I'm sure the fans were very disappointed when Falkirk knocked them out of the Scottish Cup on penalties.
Yeah.
But in the bigger picture, them winning the league is like when Leicester won it down south.
Yeah.
It would be massive, and the less distractions they can have, the best for the chance, because the league is there to be lost by Hearts.
Yeah, we spoke about
they're in pole position.
Yeah, we spoke before about McInnes and his time at Aberdeen, and maybe he'd missed a trick with under Ronnie Dyler's tenure that maybe they could have won it then. And I noticed in his interview after the game yesterday, he was a lot more positive in what he was saying. They asked him, could they win the league? Could Hearts win the league? And he says, his response this time was something along the lines of, I believe we can win enough games to. Whereas before at Aberdeen, he was like, oh, no, we'd just be happy with second place, etc., etc., be a big ass. There's a definite change in his mindset, I think, and I really believe that they really believe that they can do it. And the number of games is diminishing, so, and they're still in front, so they really need to be beaten. We need to rely on others beating them as well as ourselves. You know what I mean? It's not just a case of we win our last game against them and that's it. We need to really go on a run of form. And you've also got our City rivals in the equation as well now, who have leapfrogged us in the table and now have a better goal difference as well. So, so obviously we're going into a European game on Thursday, hoping that we can we can remain in the top 24. If we can get a victory, a decent victory, we can maybe jump up a couple of places, and it might make a difference to the opposition we'll face in the playoffs. And then we've got another really difficult game next week in the league as well. So that's not going to be an easy one given my recent performance at Brockville. No, so I
see Falkirk's manager was at the game. At the game, John was at the game yesterday. I've seen that. Yeah, look, it's hopefully, and we say this on every podcast. Hopefully, we will get a couple of signings in to strengthen the squad. With that lad coming in and his whole of Thomas, the centre forward, with his whole up play yesterday in the first half, you can see what they were trying to do. They're trying to get the ball to him, they knock it down to the wingers, to bring them into the game. But I think we need to mix it up, Michael. I think we need to be able to, yes, play the long ball, play the target man, but we still need to be able to play it on the pitch as well, and bring the midfield into it, because it'll get to the case where they'll figure out, right, we don't need to worry about that midfield because they're gonna lob the ball over us, And I thought at times when we did have the ball, the Hearts were happy to just invite us on and then try and catch us on the break. And like one or two of them, the players, they were missing a couple of big players yesterday as well, as we were. So
it'd be good if we could get a couple of those back. No, I'm not sure. I know obviously Jota and Carter Vickers are out for the entire season, but I'm not sure how far off Alistair Johnson is, which would be a big boost for us. Or Sarachi. I mean, it seems to be even Iheanacho as well gives you something else up top.
And you know what? I'd like to see a bit of him. I'd like to see him get a run in the team, and then because he even in that cup final game, like when he went off, the game was a different game then.
Yeah.
And he was so up for it and so frustrating going off. So I can imagine he's chopping at the bit to get back in.
Yeah.
But
not the same injuries as well.
If we could get Sarachi back, because Kieran has, we know about Kieran's history, and he's injury prone and that. And Matt O'Neill was saying yesterday after the game that he doesn't know if he'll be. They have to have another look at him, to see if he's okay for this week.
But played a lot of games this season as well, which was probably a surprise to most. I mean, I know we sort of introduced him gradually into the games, and it was like 60 minutes and stuff. But I mean, he's lasted until almost February without picking up an injury. So I think,
but he's had to, because with Sarachi out injured, he's had to. He's the only. You can't call Scales like a left full. Scales is the left side of centre half, and no disrespect to the other centre halves, with Vickers out and Scales and Trusty, like you wouldn't trust the others to come in, and like I feel sorry for Dave Murray. He just every time he seems to go to Tynecastle, there was one fucking it just goes pear-shaped for him. Even yesterday, there was, and I hate singling out players, but there was one stage where he tried to kick the ball out, and it went towards goal. You know what I mean? And it's as if his confidence is
even Trusty yesterday. I mean, that chance he gave up in the first half was horrendous. I mean, after that performance on Thursday night in Bologna. Him and Schmeichel were absolutely brilliant. Some people maybe blame Schmeichel for the second goal. He was just a bit unsighted, unfortunate. He saved us again yesterday with that trusty pass back, if you could call it that. No, and then the red card. Obviously, I'm not sure there's any intent on him to play the player. I just think he gets sort of tangled, and he tries to cut across him, I think, and just catches him. So, it wasn't his best day yesterday after having such an outstanding game on Thursday night. But this is always going to happen to defenders, I suppose, and he is playing out of position on the right side of that centre back pairing. So that's just forced upon us just now. But it'd be good to get some players back. No, I know, as I say, I know Carter Vickers and Jota are out for the season, which would be a big loss to anybody. Basically, we've got 5 starting players that are out. No, so I know there's a lot made of Hearts missing. Obviously, they've got a smaller squad, but there's a lot made of their players been missing, and Devlin and Shanklin. But we've been sort of hampered all season by long-term injuries. No, so but then it's on the board to be bringing people in, even if it's short term, bringing loan players in to fill these positions until such time as these players are back. We can't just keep hobbling on, limping through the season and hoping for the best, which seems to be what we're doing. It's almost as if they want a pat in the back now for bringing in Chavanchara. So, and that's them. Job done. It's far from it, no? And don't get us rift with the support mended as well as soon as possible, because that's no helping matters either. We need a, as Brian Wilson said a couple of weeks ago, we need unity, but he's done nothing to unify the support. No, we need to get that sorted, because that can be a goal there start, and home games particularly. I mean, the Ultras are still attending the away games, as we've seen again yesterday, and they will continue to do so. But we really need to get that section back and rocking again. Get Celtic Park, turn that into the fortress, and then a noisy cauldron for these remaining games. No, so, but I don't know if that's something that's now gone. No, if that is past.
Well, you wouldn't know, because like the communication.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing coming from it to indicate what's going to happen. No, there's just nothing. I mean, the support in Bologna sounded incredible for the duration of the game, and really, and obviously, Trusty commented on that as well. About the backing and stuff for the fans. So that's what we need. But we're not going to get it unless the board sort of, I mean, offer an olive branch or some sort. Know what I mean? There's something needs to be done. It can't just keep going on like this. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot every time. No.
Well, Michael, we've talked about this. We can talk about this till we're blue in the face, but or green in the face. Nothing. Like, I have no confidence that they're going to come out and do anything, because it just I've lost all hope in them, to tell you the truth. And like, in life, the most important thing is communication, and when there's a crisis, talk, like, but these just seem to go, no, we ain't saying nothing. Because every time they do open their mouth, they make it worse.
Yeah.
Ross Dermot, Desmond Dermot, Michael Nicholson. 3 times they have opened. Like, Michael welcomed the manager in that lasted 23 days, said he was the number 1 target, blah, blah, blah. Ross attacked the Celtic fans, and Desmond attacked the manager through the club's official channels. So when they do speak, they and then God bless you. And then when Wilson comes out and says, "Yeah, we want unity," but yeah, he doesn't act on it. So
that's just words. Huh?
Yeah. So like the PR department is, it's a lot of work to do if they want to get their message out. But Thursday night, Michael, like The Green Brigade members will probably be in the stadium, not
Probably.
in the usual spot.
Yeah.
Noise levels should be great.
Possibly.
It should be a sellout. You know, it's a big European night. It's a game we're well capable of winning. You know, and I think we'll be in the last. I think we'll make
playoff.
Make
yeah, I would expect so.
I
would expect so. I don't expect us to lose. I think there's a couple of teams that can still overtake us if we don't win, but I would expect us to at least get something for the game and be in that last 24. I mean, the further up we can finish, the better, I think, and avoid a playoff like the one we got last year was particularly difficult. I would look to avoid. I mean, looking at it now, I think 9th and 24th would meet, which would be Porto and ourselves. If these positions remain the same, I think Porto play Rangers this week.
Yeah, they do.
So aye. So I would expect the 9th to 24th positions to move about somewhat, and hopefully we won't be in 24th and they can move up a wee bit. Maybe meet somebody that's not in the greatest of form, or somebody that, or a team that our supporters maybe thinks beatable. I know it's all ifs and buts, because probably if you ask yourself, would we beat Midtjylland? They'd probably say, oh, aye, Celtic should beat Midtjylland, but look at them, look where they are on the table now. So they've had a fantastic season, and that actually blows Ross Desmond's comments about the size of the club and stuff, and budgets and all this that he made during the EGM, and blows it right out of the water, as does the Bodo Glimt.
Oh, incredible result last week.
Which just another feather in their bow, so to speak, with some of the scalps they've had in Europe now. So if you look at the size of these clubs, not way smaller than Celtic, you know what I mean? So it just negates his comments during these rehearsed attack on the Celtic support at the AGM. Huh? Oh, aye, but we'll see. I mean, it's Utrecht. The last time, I have terrible memories of Utrecht. The last time, I mean, we did beat them 2-0 at home, but I remember going away. I was on my honeymoon and I rounded it off with a 4-0 defeat in Utrecht. No, travelled to Amsterdam, so that was aye.
I always remember. Like on our European travels, you used to always say to me, well, back then it was we were writing columns, and your column would always start or finish with, I just wish you could bring a win home from Europe.
Aye, or a goal. Aye. There's so many times that we went away confident that we'd done enough in the first game, and then to be overturned.
We went with so much. We were so up for it, and then we were always so deflated coming home.
Always the same.
It was just the same old story, wasn't it?
Well, that's one thing under Martin O'Neill. He seems to have the players in the right mindset for playing these European games now, because I would have had no confidence before he was in that we would have took anything for these last couple of games. You know what I mean? So,
if Nancy had stayed, there's a possibility we'd be out of the Scottish Cup.
Yeah,
so like, but look,
luckily we didn't have to play at Beachwood.
Man, it's a stopgap. We know that. Like, I don't think he's going to be down next year. But you never know at Celtic. But I think I'm really looking forward to Thursday night, getting back. Celtic Park under the lights. It can be. Especially before kickoff, it's always a great experience. And then sometimes the game can let you down. But as in the Roma game. But I think it's all set up for a Celtic win on Thursday night, and I hope I'm correct.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Well, Michael, thanks very much for chatting again on this.
Pleasure as always.
On this Monday morning, on the aftermath of two draws with 10 men, and I look forward to chatting to you again maybe next week.
Yeah, hopefully we finish the next two games with 11 and a couple of victories.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Cheers.